The goal of 2026 as a true beginner should be to make the most amount of money while spending the least time possible. And when you search up on the internet the different ways to make an online income, you're shown 3 million different ways. And none of them make sense, or even worse, you don't know if they work. Yeah, I've been there. You see, while traveling the world for the past 3 years, I've met a lot of people making money online. All the way from e-commerce dropshippers, social media freelancers, crypto traders, I mean, you name it. But there's only one online income that exists where you can make money without being an expert or without investing countless hours into it. I'm saying this because I've experienced it firsthand. I've had the luxury to visit new cities all around the world while working sometimes 4 hours a week. And don't just take it from me. There are thousands of people and beginners out there who've been finding success also. I've met many of them, and their how they got started story seems to all be the same with what I'm about to show you. And in 2026, it's never been easier to succeed by making money online with this business. So grab a pen and paper and focus in. These next 10 minutes are going to kick off the beginning into your new online income. All right, let's cut to the chase. So this lazy way of making money is literally just buying name branded products and reselling them on Amazon, okay? So instead of going through definitions and explanations, we're gonna dive into a real life example as if you had a seller account open yesterday of how you can make money right now with Amazon, okay? So here we are on an Amazon listing. And on this listing, you're gonna notice me talk about two different softwares. One is called SellerAmp on the right, and this one at the bottom is called Keepa. And these software is going to help calculate our profit and make a buying decision on which products to buy. Everybody always asks me, they say, Jay, I know you can make a lot of money with Amazon, but how do I know which products to buy? And just with these two softwares, you can scale your business to 5 figures, 6 figures a month, in probably even 7 figures a month with just these two softwares that cost $20 a month each, okay? And also, before we dive into it, you might be thinking, but are people really making money? There are millions of sellers. I want you to go and look up how many Amazon sellers are in the US and the world, and there's millions of sellers around the world making thousands of dollars every single day. And Amazon is giving us the benefit of using their marketing and their platform and their logistics by shipping products into them for them to handle it and us never have to touch a product, so we can travel, work remote, and have fun and so on. And all we're doing is being the middleman on the products. We're not even owning the brand or the product. We're just buying for a certain price and reselling at a certain price as long as the ROI makes sense, and we go forward, okay? So let's dive into this real life example here with this Japanese toothpaste product. And I know what you might be thinking. You might have ideas in your head of what you could sell, what sells well, what's trendy, but don't worry. You don't have to worry about any of that. This is literally for complete beginners with no knowledge on Amazon, because the data and the softwares tells us everything we ever need to know. I started with not a clue on online business, Amazon, e-commerce, nothing. And I learned it day over day, month over month, and have created a 7-figure business out of it. And that's why I'm here showing you guys, okay? So let's dive into it. So we have this toothpaste product here. Now on the right, like I said, I'm able to calculate my profit. And at the bottom, I'm able to calculate how well the product is doing and if I should make a buying decision, okay? So this top bar here, you're gonna see 3 different graphs. And I know it might look a bit confusing, but let me clean it up a bit so it looks a little bit easier, okay? So what you're gonna see here is a top chart, a middle chart, and a bottom chart. And it's very easy to memorize and learn. Just think of it like this. Price is the top chart. The middle chart is volume, and the last chart is other sellers. So sellers like me and you who also are buying stock, sending it to Amazon, getting sales, and rinsing, repeating the process, okay? Like I said, there's millions of other sellers out there. This listing doesn't have too many. It only has, under 15, but there's so many other people doing it out there online, and it's never been easier in this year, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run our cursor from right to left over the price, and we're gonna do this with each single box to see how well it's performing over the last few months, because we want consistency and stability to make sure we're selling a product that we're gonna actually make money on over a long period of time. That way we don't have to focus on finding new products and so on, okay? So first, let me run my cursor from right to left. As I run my cursor from right to left, you're going to see the price constantly changing. And what Amazon is doing there is giving sales to different sellers. That's all they're doing. They're providing different sales to different sellers so that everybody wins, everybody gets happy on the listing, as long as the sellers are priced competitively, okay? And priced in the same price range, all right? So I'm running my cursor right to left. You're going to see a constant change in pricing. Even though it's constantly changing, it's very, very consistent. So this was the first sign to show me that, okay, there's a lot of opportunity in this listing, because if we can buy it for a profitable price, for the past 3 months, this data shows me that it stays at that price. And if I, prolong the chart, open up to a 1-year chart, which these charts go as long as the listing was born on Amazon. So go from 2,000 days, 3,000 days, you name it, it has the ability for, okay? But over the past year, the chart is very, very consistent. So that was already a first tell, a first sign to be like, okay, let's continue researching this product. All right. Now, the second chart, we're looking at volume. And this is telling me that this listing sells 200 times a month. Now, that doesn't mean each seller sells 200 times a month, but even if we can win 30 or 50 sales at $5 profit, just estimating, that's pretty good profit every single month to not have to touch a product, rather just source it, send it in, and continue the same on process, okay? So this volume is pretty good. Sometimes I'd like it to be higher to 300, 400, 500 and so on, but for the most part, it's decent. And if we open it up for the past year, it stays between 100 and 200. And last year it came up to 600, which is really, really good, but I wish it was, a little bit higher in these more recent days, which is not. Now, with the offer count, let's dive into the offer count. Just replace the word on this software, offer, with sellers, okay? This last bar is just showing us how many other sellers in the listing. And what you're seeing here is this chart go up and down, up and down. And that's when new sellers get stock and when other sellers sell out. It's black and white. It's very plain and simple, okay? So now that we understand this chart, and we can see it for the past year, the past 3 months, the past 1 month, the past week, the past day, you can even go down to the past minute, past hour. It gets so detailed for you to make a proper decision, okay? Now, here on the right with our profit calculator, I'm going to dive back into this one in a second, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you actually where we can buy this product, okay? So let me open that up. And for this case scenario, I'm already getting a 10% coupon. You don't have to be a wholesaler, a manufacturer, or spend thousands of dollars to try to buy this inventory. We're literally on the website of the brand. Now, I always recommend finding a smaller retailer or a smaller supplier that's not the brand, just so that you can buy maybe more units, because it's going to be difficult to buy 200 units if you were able to sell that through with the brand, because sometimes they have order limits. They don't stay in stock as often because they're tailoring to regular customers, okay? But here we are on the brand's website. And what you could see is they're selling this product for $12. And if you do a subscribe and save, which you buy every single month and cancel anytime, you get 10% off, okay? So this is awesome, because we always want to fight to discounts, get cheaper and cheaper products, and not have to pay these big fees. Now, what you saw immediately when I opened up this website, they offered another 10% coupon, okay? So this is great. We're getting a lot of deals to get a cheaper and cheaper price. But now you might be asking, what about shipping? What about any other fees? The only other fees you have to worry about is shipping and sales tax. And there's a few sales tax free states, which I know is taking us a little bit ahead, but you don't have to worry about sales tax, because you essentially ship the product to a prep center where they do all the prepping for you to send to Amazon. So that way you actually don't have to touch the product. And when you ship it to those prep centers in those sales tax free states, you don't have to worry about any other taxes, any other fees. And if you hit the minimum order requirement on shipping, which is $65, which you'll probably do that no problem, then you get free shipping. So the cost is really just the cost. So if the cost is $10.80 for one of these, remember, this listing is selling them as a 2-pack, because you can see here right in the Amazon listing, it says 2-pack with the Amazon logo there. Then we have to buy 2, which 10.80 times 2 is 21.60. But we're also getting another 10% coupon for new purchases or welcome bonus purchases, as this site presented to us. So we're gonna have to do another 10% coupon, which is gonna be around the $19 range. So 21.60 times 0.90, which is 10% off, that's going to be $19.44. So if we can buy this product for $19.44, now I'm going to dive into our SellerAmp, which is the second software, $19.44, And let's say, for example, we can sell it at $36.91, which seems to be the consistent selling price over the past few months. Remember, this is the consistent selling price. I mean, it goes down a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, it stays around 36. It even goes higher at times, which is really, really good. But if we could sell it at that price and we're buying at $19.44, then this software immediately tells me that we'll make $5.88 in profit and 30% ROI, which is a really good price point, because that tells me that this entire listing, if I scroll down here, don't worry about all this wording here because I know you're completely new to it. Don't worry about it at all. But if you scroll down here and you hit the quantity of expected quantity of how many, it's basically a calculator of how many you could sell. I'm going to type in 200 because this listing tells me it sells 200 times a month, right? Amazon presents that data for us right here, and they present it to us right here on the Keep It chart, which is really good. But if I zoom in here, Amazon's going to tell us, this software, that we're expected to sell $7,382 every month in sales, and the profit is going to be $1,176. Okay, but here's something very, very important. Now, like I said, Amazon rotates sales amongst every seller or other sellers who are priced in the same price range. So we're not actually going to get 200 sales per month. That's very optimistic and almost impossible. But let's say we can get 50 sales per month, because maybe we're only competing with a few sellers who are in the same price point, because you're going to see all of the sellers here, which I won't even dive into that too much. I have an entire program on that, an entire course for you guys for free on YouTube to dive into that. But if we have, let's say, for example, we sell 50 units per month, 50 packs of twos, then we're going to make $294 profit, $1,800 in sale. I know it doesn't seem like a crazy lot, but it's really good when you do this across 4 to 5 to 6 different listings on Amazon. Then you're making an extra $1,000, $2,000 a month in profit, which is awesome. And the crazy part is nothing really changes when you grow your business. You just buy more inventory, you have more listings and more available products to buy. But this is a base zero example where if you start a seller account in the next 20 minutes and you go to sell this product, you will make money, right? So there's really it, right? Buying and selling products on Amazon is by far the laziest and the easiest, because it takes the least amount of time and it produces the most amount of money across sellers across the world, okay? So there we go with the laziest business model in 2026, and I think it's going to continue to be the best and the laziest and business of the next few years, and maybe even decade and 2 decades and 3 decades and so on, right? So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to make more and more videos like this. And if you have any recommendations, please put it in the comments below so I can make some more videos on that of what you're actually looking for. I'm always happy to do that. So there we go, and see you guys for now.